there's parang nasa panic mode na itong foreign policy team ni Bongbong Marcos precisely because of the unpredictability of Mr. Trump and his pronouncement and in fact his policies, no? So hindi nila talaga magis, and in fact until now, no, they are begging for an appointment for a meeting with Mr. Trump. Sinabi na niya ni Enrique Manalo of the DFA nung tinawagan niya si Secretary of State Marco Rubio that they are exploring looking at the possibility of setting up a meeting between Bongbong Marcos and Mr. Trump. Kahapon sa Cebu, sinabi na rin ni Bongbong Marcos, I am planning to meet with Mr. Trump. Biro nyo, we are the only treaty ally of the Americans here by virtue of the Mutual Defense Treaty. Ilang beses sinabi, the US has an ironclad commitment to the security of the Philippines. Pero hanggang ngayon, walang meeting na schedule. Not even a phone call to discuss matters of foreign policy and foreign relations between the two nations. So, ito, nagpa-panic mode na itong mga amboys, no, within Marcos Jr.'s administration. So, dyan. At in fact, siya yung unang nagpalabas ng kanyang expose na isinimulan ng 777 na naging 30-30-30 pala. No, na mga all forms of ayuda. Pag sumama ka dun sa mga sorties nitong si trying hard to be President Speaker Martin Romualdez. So therefore, ngayon, hindi naman mga bobo yan, napaka-intelihenteng mga tao yan. They just have so much restraint in themselves. They were trained to be to restrain themselves from acting, no? Precisely because of the doctrine of the civilian authority is superior to the military. Pero, again, sa kasabihan nga ng wikang Pilipino, kapag napuno na nga yung salop, ay talagang kakalusin nila yan. And by the time they do that, no, it's a point of no turning back. No, it's a point of no return. Yun na nga, no? At dinefine nyo na nga at tinanslate nyo in Tagalog na lahat ng posisyon ng whether it's appointed or elected, no, ay talagang dapat should be anchored on those very basic principles of that a public position, a public service is a matter of public trust. Dahil na nga, ang naglagay dyan, kung elected ka directly is the Filipino people. Kung appointed ka naman, ang nag-appoint sa'yo were probably elected by the people. Kung career ka, official ka naman, ang nagpapasweldo sa'yo ay ang mga taong bayan din. Therefore, you should be, kasi nga, yun na nga, yung doktrina nga sa Korte Suprema, ikaw ay isang for public consumption, ang isang public official. So therefore, yung sinabi mo kanina na covered lahat, no, ng accountability and other requirements as a matter of public trust ang isang posisyon na hinahawakan ng isang tao, lalong-lalo na yung presidente.
Pero sabi ng presidente no to hair follicle test. Tapos sabi niya it has nothing to do with public trust in his public office. Walang koneksyon yung sinasabi niya. Ito'y sagot sa naging hamon ni Attorney Vic Rodriguez na mag-undergo nga siya ng hair follicle test. Itong mga panawagan na ito, last year pa nang magkaroon ng mga listahan mula sa PDEA, nang lumabas yung video ng di umano'y yung paggamit ng illegal na droga. Anong masasabi mo dyan, sir?
Well, I saw the snippet of that quick interview and I think Bongbong Marcos was really caught off guard by that question from a reporter. And I praise the reporter for asking that question, no? And there was this sense of disbelief, no? Na parang hindi makapaniwala si Bongbong Marcos na tinanong siya noon ng isang reporter na yon. At parang it was an answer, it was a very uncomfortable answer for him na hindi na niya nga no na napagtanto ang ibig niyang sabihin, and it led him to declare that such a call for a hair follicle drug test has nothing to do with public office being a public trust, which defies common logic. No, it doesn't take a genius to understand what the meaning of public office is a public trust. Kasi nga, you are answerable to the people, and in fact, undergoing a hair follicle drug test shouldn't only be mandatory but should always be voluntary on the part of that public servant, precisely because of that very basic principle, the very basic tenet that a public office is a public trust. So he failed to understand it, probably because he was caught off guard, and we all know may history itong si Bongbong Marcos na ang gusto niyan is predetermined at pre-arranged, no, yung mga questions. Kaya makikita nyo, when Bongbong Marcos speaks, no, pagka mga prepared speeches, maganda talagang mag-deliver, very eloquent, no? Pero if you look at the history of this guy, pagka mga ambush interviews, he doesn't really make any sense, no, sa mga sagot niya. At kabilang na nga yan, itong kanina nga lang ata na sagot niya. And in fact, towards the later portion of that answer, no, sinabi pa niya na weak daw si Attorney Vic Rodriguez, no? He's been very weak daw nung nagtrabaho pa si Attorney Vic sa kanya. At ang kanyang logic is, kung ganun daw ang pananaw ni Attorney Vic Rodriguez, bakit daw nagtrabaho pa si Attorney Vic Rodriguez sa kanya? I mean, it doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur, no? Na kesyo nagtrabaho si Attorney Vic sa kanya, that exonerates him from the accusations na he's a drug user. When the only way to unequivocally prove that he is not is to undergo hair follicle drug testing. What's keeping him from doing it? Everybody's doing it. Ipanaw candidates did it. Polong Duterte did it. VP Sara Duterte has been calling for hair follicle drug testing doon sa mga yanggoons sa Kongreso. Apparently, hindi naman kumasa. So that creates, no, the contradiction right there, MJ and Admar.
Tsaka, kung wala kang tinatago, di ba? Simple lang.
Exactly. Tama.
So, ang nangyari sa Bisaya pa, sa IB, piyansaa,
Defensive.
ko.
Very defensive. Very defensive talaga yung ang sagot niya. Very defensive. Tingnan mo, dineflect niya kaagad, no? Na it doesn't have anything to do with public office is a public trust. Tapos to negate, no, his comments or to reinforce his comment, pinasa niya ngayon ang burden kay Attorney Vic Rodriguez, at ang sabi niya na bakit sinasabi to, siya yung weak, siya yung perceived to be weak. Sinabi na ni PRRD na he is a weak leader. Tapos ngayon, pinasa niya kay Attorney Vic Rodriguez na Attorney Vic Rodriguez is weak, no? Precisely because, ang logic nga niya, dahil nagtrabaho sa kanya si Attorney Vic Rodriguez ng medyo mahabang panahon din.
Did he negated, sir, yung public skepticism? Kasi ito yung panawagan, national na panawagan to eh. Tapos, it's a big no. Parang yung nangyari ngayong araw.
Actually, it wasn't negated. It was in fact reinforced. Actually, it was not skepticism, MJ, no? If I may. Kasi nga, a majority of Filipinos, going by social media pronouncements and statements, na talagang nagdududa ang malaking bahagi ng sambayan ng Pilipino na totoo nga yung mga akusasyon at they've been calling for hair follicle drug test. Pero ngayon, itong ginawa niya na he's very defensive, he was caught off guard, he didn't make any sense, no, on his answer, at pinasa pa nga niya doon kay AVR, no, kung saan si mismong AVR ang who's been calling for hair follicle drug testing, pinasa na ngayon ni Bongbong Marcos Itong pagiging weak daw, kaya nasabi ni Atty. Vic Rodriguez yun. So therefore, kung meron mang skepticism, nawala na yun. And in fact, I would probably argue na anong tawag nito, mas lalo pang umigting ang pagdududa ngayon ng taong bayan dahil nga sa kanyang the manner that he answered those questions.
Sir, maayong gabi si Admar po. Nakikita niyo po ba na hindi na misinformed or hindi na pagsabihan or mali ang sulsol ng mga consultant or kung sino man yung mga advisor niya sa kanyang naging mga pahayag recently? Dahil maliban po dyan sa issue ng drug test, nabanggit din niya doon sa speech, talumpati niya, na talagang nanindigan na walang blanco doon sa 2025 budget, na kahit na sa kabilahan ng mga pag-amin na mismo na meron niyang blanco doon sa BICAM report.
Well, I think he is now informed. Maybe he wasn't that informed when he called PRRD a liar, no? Dahil wala ngang blanco sa GAA. Pero ngayon, dapat sana alam na niya na people are talking about the bicameral conference report na may mga blanco. The petition filed by Congressman Ungab and Atty. Vic Rodriguez is precisely assailing that portion of the budget process. Pero itong si Bongbong Marcos, I mean, you know, he has the guts, no? He has the gall and the audacity to tell thousands, no, in fact 700 or even 1,000 or so lawyers of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, some of whom are lecturers, retired justices, judges, and even in active service, no, na wala talaga siyang nakikitang blanco sa GAA. And nagyabang pa nga siya that he read 4,057 pages of the 4 volumes of the General Appropriations Act. At ang Admar, ito, kanina flawed yung logic niya about the hair follicle drug testing. After this one, ganon din, he also stated a logical fallacy, a very flawed logic. Why? Kasi ang sabi niya, wala talaga kaming nakitang blanco, although hahanapin daw nila, we will continue looking for it, but I'm sure, I'm not quoting him verbatim, pero parang sabi niya, I'm sure na walang blanco because they are not allowed to exist. Therefore, they do not exist, or they do not exist simply because they are not allowed to exist. That's a flawed logic. Kung sasabihin niya na walang blanco kasi hindi allowed na may blanco, no? Therefore, hindi nag-i-exist ang mga blanco. It's the same as saying na walang shabu dahil hindi allowed ang shabu. Pero we all know that shabu exists. So, talaga makikita nyo ang failure of this president, no, to apply the basic concepts of logic and the very basic premises of constructing a convincing argument, no, to a point na katawa-tawa na talaga siya na, and he did it doon sa almost 1,000 lawyers. Nakakahiya.
Opo, at maliban pa po dito ay nabanggit niya nung tinanong siya, kasi kini-question yung budget nga, no? Yung BICAM report na blanco, nilagdaan ito yung pinagbasihan para sa bill hanggang sa naging batas, at may question doon na sakaling katigan ito ng Korte Suprema, anong mangyayari? Ang kanyang sagot ay shutdown. Ang gobyerno daw ay magsa-shutdown. Malinaw din ito na hindi ba alam ng presidente kung ano po ang nasa saligang batas na sinasabi na magre-reenact kung ano yung previous na budget, yun yung magiging budget sa, halimbawa, kung ano yung budget for 2024, ito yung magiging budget for 2025. Ito yung nagpapatunay lalo na talagang maka-US talaga itong si Marcos Jr. kasi nga, yung sinasabi niyang shutdown, dun sa Amerika, talagang shutdown. Once na hindi po ma-enact yung budget mismo. Ano masasabi mo rito, Sir AB?
Yan na nga, no, Admar, no, MJ at mga kababayan. Talagang pinakita ni Bongbong Marcos dito sa kanyang sagot na number one, it's either he doesn't really know his constitution or he probably doesn't really know how to be president. Tama si Inday Sara dyan. Kasi nga, it's provided for in Article 6, Section 25, Paragraph 7 of the 1987 Constitution. At sinabi na yan ng mga eksperto, no, na if and when a budget is not approved at the end of any fiscal year, the preceding budget, in our case, the 2024 budget, will in effect become a reenacted budget for that year, in our case, 2025. So, bakit niya sasabihin, we will shut down everything? Number one, the President cannot shut down everything, even without an approved budget. Precisely because there are mechanisms that will make the government continue to work. What will probably be shut down in his mind, na talagang hindi niya siguro alam, will be the appropriations on that specific budget na hindi na-approve or kinonsider as unconstitutional ng Korte Suprema at isinole doon sa Kongreso to cure any constitutional infirmities. No? May mga sakit na nakita ang Korte Suprema, ibabalik sa Kongreso, at ngayon ay kanilang gagamutin para magiging constitutional siya. And it will not shut down everything. Maybe shut down some new specific line budget items na hindi aprobado doon sa GAA 2024. Kasi you will be now basing your budget for 2025 doon sa GAA 2024. Halimbawa, pag wala doon sa GAA 2024, talagang shutdown yon, yung part na yun. But ang sabi niya is, we will shut down everything. And Admar and MJ, no, mga kababayan, bear in mind, if you contextualize it, no, there is already a pending petition in the Supreme Court, no, questioning the constitutionality of the 2025 General Appropriations Act. Bongbong Marcos was speaking in front of almost 1,000 lawyers with justices, retired justices, judges, people who know the law. And here you are, a college dropout, saying all these things na para bang he is blackmailing. Because the Chief Justice was there, his mundo. A Supreme Court Associate Justice, Marvic Leonin, was there in that gathering. Wala man lang siyang karespeto at delikadesa to say all those things na siya yung presidente at may nandyan ang dalawang and the Chief Justice was there and isang miyembro ng Korte Suprema was there at parang hino-hostage na niya yung buong gobyerno na magsa-shutdown in case the Supreme Court rules in favor of the petitioners, in this case Congressman Ungab, Attorney Vic Rodriguez et al. So talagang dito nyo talaga makikita na he is acting like a spoiled brat. Itong taong to na walang natapos sa kolehiyo at naging presidente lang dahil sa popularidad ng kanyang kapartner na si VP Sara, ay talagang nagyabang na, no, in front of all those legal luminaries, if I may say, Admiral MJ.
Opo, at kung sakaling gagawin niya ito, kung makakuha ng pabor mula sa Korte Suprema, yung mga petitioner at gagawin niya ito na ang sabi kasi niya dito, we shut down everything. So sila yung mag-shutdown nito, di pa ni bagong paglabag na naman ito sa konstitusyon. Sakaling kanila pong gagawin.
Tama, no? Because even if you are the president, no, there are mechanisms, no, that prevent you from shutting down everything. In fact, there are mechanisms na pagka walang presidente, halimbawa may gap, no, in between a succession of two presidents, no, automatic pa rin yan. Gumagana pa rin lahat yan, no, kasi andyan yan eh. The process is already instituted. No, the process is there, no? Hindi tama na we will shut down everything. We will shut down everything. It's as if he owns the entire country and he owns the entire bureaucracy and that he owns the treasury or the entire country for that matter. Talagang sobra na talaga ang pag-iisip nito. Ewan ko kung nasa planetang Mars ba o nasa Pluto na ba itong
Opo.
nito.
And Sir EB, maliban pa rito, yung kalayaan ng mga tao na mag-question sa anuman sa ginagawa ng gobyerno, like kagaya po nitong kontrobersyal na 2025 budget, ay para sa kanya destabilisasyon. So parang if ever na mag-question at magpapasaklolo kasi tingin siguro ng ibang mga tao, personality, wala nang ibang makasasandalan pa kundi doon sa pinakamataas na korte natin, pero itatag agad na parte ng destabilisasyon. Ano po ang nakikita nyo rito? Lalo na sa mga gustong magreklamo kasi hindi na nila nagugustuhan ang kasalukuyang pamamahala. So, nandun pa rin yung censorship.
Yan na nga, Admar, no, MJ, no, mga kababayan, no. This is a very snowflake president, a very snowflake administration na pagka pinuna ay destabilization kaagad, no. Kaya nga, tingnan nyo yung ginagawa nila doon sa KOJC, if we remember, ginawa nila sa mga quote-unquote, mga kalaban nila sa politika, suspension here and there, eventually wasting 200 million pesos worth of ballots dahil minadali ng COMELEC ang pagdidiskwalipika, tapos na-issuehan ng TRO, ng Korte Suprema. So tapos ngayon, pag may nagre-reklamo, ay talagang destabilization na. Wala na bang, parang wala nang puwang sa kanila. Ang parang absolutism na, no? Totalitarian na ang ibig sabihin ba pagka ginawa nila at sinabi nila, yun na talaga ang gospel truth at yun na talaga ang tama. They have a monopoly of what is right at wala na tayong karapatan na questionin sila. And in fact, constitutional questions will always be filed in the Supreme Court. At yan talaga, kasi pag hindi ka weak, no, ang isang leadership, you would welcome all those questions, especially on matters of constitutionality, on policies, on legislation, especially the budget now. They should welcome it, and they should take it as the time to shine, no. Halimbawa, they could argue their case pretty well in full view of the public and in the Supreme Court. Plus points nila yan eh. It goes to show na they are not confident of their position at baka nga delikado na mag-rule adversely ang Supreme Court diyan. Because I personally believe, seeing all those things, na may talagang may tsansa, malaking tsansa na ma-declare yan as unconstitutional. MJ and Admar.
Opo, sa tingin niyo po, kailangan pa ba siyang magsalita ukol dito sa budget? Pa kasi grabe yung pagdepensa, pero malinaw doon na sa BICAM report. So kumbaga, kung doon yung may problema, most likely ang mga taga-Congress, Senado at taga-House of Representatives yung magsasalita. Nabanggit na rin, Executive Secretary, na kung ito man ay merong blanco, labas na ang Pangulo dyan. Pero siya pa rin yung nagdedepensa na wala talagang mali doon sa 2025 budget.
Tama, no? At ako'y naguguluhan din, no? At nung in-interview nyo nga ako, nung pumutok tong issue na to, sinabi ko nga rin, no? Na lahat na lang ng ehekutibo ay nagsalita na in defense of Congress. Na ang may issue dito ay yung Congress mismo, and specifically itong Bicameral Conference Committee. Pero hanggang ngayon nga, sila pa rin ang nagtatanggol dyan. You know, we haven't even heard the Speaker of the House, Martin Romualdez. Well, I haven't heard. I don't know if he had issued any statement. We haven't heard from the former Appropriations Committee Chair, Zaldico, who has been one of the chairmen dun sa BICAM for the 3 budgets of 2023, 2024, and 2025. Pero it seems to me na Bongbong Marcos is taking the cudgels, no, for his brother doon sa Kongreso. Evidently, he is part and parcel of the whole process. And it reinforces our assertion na talagang may sabwatan na irregular na nangyari, especially doon sa Bicameral Conference Committee.
Sir, ito daw ang issue sa hamon, sa drug test. Hindi naman daw ito accountability. Issue daw ito ng relevance. Wow. Ano masasabi mo doon? Hindi naman daw yan good governance ang hamon. Dahil ang presidente naman daw ay nagtatrabaho para sa bayan. Yung humamon daw, ano bang ginawa niya sa bayan? Mga ganong depensa ng mga ng kabilang kampo.
Well, they can always spin it the way they want it, no? Ganyan naman talaga, no, ang politika. They have all the propaganda machines and the budget to spin it whichever way they like. Pero ang the bottom line is, no, the public now, kasi medyo namatay na tong issue na to, no, MJ and Admar, if you remember. Nag-die down na to eh. Pero biglang binuhay ngayon. At ngayon, nagka-interest na ulit ang mga Pilipino. Tapos, ganyan pa yung kanyang sagot, lalong umigting na naman ulit ang pagdududa ng napakaraming Pilipino. Kasi nga, if you are defensive in denying, kasi it's why can't he do it when everybody else can? Di ba? So, again, they can spin it the way they want it. Well, again, it's a matter of relevance daw, nagtatrabaho daw. But the question is, no, yung mga polisiya niya, yung mga pinagagawa niya, is it really for the good of the Filipinos? If there are questions in the manner by which he is governing this nation or somebody is governing it for him, then it's very relevant. Precisely because maybe the president lacked the mental faculties to really govern this nation for the good of the Filipino people. And the reason that he may have questionable mental faculties could either be genetic or substance-induced.
Ako, sa isang press conference kaninang umaga, abay na-cover ko yung mga taga Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated at mismo sila, hindi na rin matiis. Actually, pinili daw nilang manahimik pero sa kanilang national conference noong nakaraang January 25, lahat daw ng mga miyembro, 11,000 sila, by the way, Sir E.B., active and retired, the mga officials, talagang gusto nila magsalita sa issue ng korupsyon. At umaasa sila na magkakaroon pa daw ng recourse. Pero pag hindi daw, sabi ng chairman ng PMAAA, na nakita na natin in the past years or experience natin na nanindigan ng armed forces to protect the people. Gano'ng kabigat yung statement na yun ng PMAAI?
Napakabigat yun, no? MJ, Admart, mga kababayan, no? Kasi nga, tama si General, ano nga ulit yun?
Gonzales, General Gonzales.
General Gonzales, tama siya. Precisely because our military and uniformed personnel already did that, no, back in ERAP's time and back in even as far back as 1986, no. At pinagtibay 'yon ng Korte Suprema. Pinagtibay ng Korte Suprema ang pagwi-withdraw ng suporta ng ating militar doon kay Pangulong ERAP Estrada noon, no, na siyang naging daan para maging presidente ang noon ay vice-presidente si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. At ang sabi sa Korte Suprema doon, karapatan natin, karapatan ng mga uniformadong personnel, no, the military and uniformed personnel, no, na magpalabas ng kanilang saloobin. And in fact, it is part of their sworn duty to protect the people, no. Kaya ito'y napakabigat na statement coming from these people, active and retired, who are the glue that binds the brotherhood that is the graduates, the alumni of the PMA. And you cannot brush aside their statements precisely because these people occupies the most confidential and the most important positions in government, whether in the military or in the private sector. And in fact, they have the influence to junior officers. And in fact, I would argue the entire troops of the AFP. Mabigat to, mabigat.
Oo, tsaka, naku, sabi nila dito, pinaka-hit daw nila yung na-misappropriate yung mga budget, tapos pupunta lang daw sa ilang pamilya, tapos sila pa daw sila ang nide-decide, sila ang nagbibigay kontrata, sila pa ang contractor, sila pa ang subcon, sila pa ang supplier. Ganong issue ba? Nakakaabot sa mga general. Ito, Sir E.B.
Well, yun na nga, kasi ang prime mover talaga niyan is one of their brothers, si now Baguio City Mayor Benji Magalong, na kung saan dinidetalye niya yung porsyento ng korupsyon at kung sino-sino dyan. At in fact, siya yung unang nagpalabas ng kanyang expose na isinimulan ng 777 na naging 30-30-30 pala. Na mga all forms of ayuda. Pag sumama ka doon sa mga sorties nitong si trying hard to be President Speaker Martin Romualdez. So therefore, ngayon, hindi naman mga bobo yan, napaka-intelihenteng mga tao yan. They just have so much restraint in themselves. They were trained to be to restrain themselves from acting, precisely because of the doctrine of the civilian authority is superior to the military. Pero again, sa kasabihan nga ng wikang Pilipino, kapag napuno na nga yung salop, ay talagang kakalusin nila yan. And by the time they do that, it's a point of no turning back. It's a point of no return. At I'm pretty sure, history will repeat itself. And in fact, history is repeating itself now. We have a first lady influencing the president, just like Imelda Marcos influenced her late husband, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. We have a Romualdez during the first Marcos admin, yung tatay nitong si Martin Romualdez, who is the biggest crony of the first Marcos regime. And then you have Martin Romualdez, now the Speaker of the House, the oligarchs of all the oligarchs, because he wants his hand in every industry now. And in fact, I would argue yung NGCP na arrangement na yan, he probably has interest in it as well, At ang mga malalaking negosyante nga, mayroon ng bagong termino kay Martin Romualdez, monogarch. He wants to be the monogarch, Yung pinaka-oligarko sa lahat ng mga oligarko. Yun ang sabi-sabi nila. So therefore, ito po ay babantayan natin at talagang susuportahan natin ang mga kapatid natin na nasa militar because they know, they know what this government is doing to the Filipino people. They know what this government is doing to the AFP, Kung saan tinapyasan yung mga budget, ang kanilang modernization ay tinanggalan ng 15 billion at parang Consuelo de Bobo is an additional 200 pesos of subsistence allowance na ipinagyabang pa ni Martin Romualdez na nag-livestream pa when he called itong si AFP Chief Browner. So ito talagang siguro na-feel na nila yung sakit, na kinakawawa na sila. Sila pa yung pinapadala doon sa West Philippine Sea, at lalong-lalo na yung looming proxy war, sila yung nasa front lines. Sino bang hindi mag-aalsa niyan? MJ and Admar.
Sir E.B., kasama po ba kayo sa na-invite sa TRICOM?
Secret. Actually, wala akong invitation. But I would probably be there to support my fellow Cebuano vlogger, along with our legal counsel.
Papa.
para
Sir.
matulungan.
Opo, sir, huli na lang sigurong topic. Naging matapang po ang pahayag din ni Marcos Jr. kaugnay nga po dito sa China, no, na isusoli na yung US Typhoon missile kapalit yung marami niyang mga sinasabi. Ano po ang nakikita ninyo? Ito ba'y magandang pamamaraan sa diplomasya at sa tingin niyo po magpapatinag dito ang China at makakapagbigay ng peaceful resolution po dyan sa Sigalot? Dekada ng sigalot dyan sa South China Sea, West Philippine Sea.
Well, to be honest, no, Admar and MJ, that probably is one of the most stupid foreign policy statements that I have heard in my entire life. Challenging a superpower like China to abandon their claims in the South China Sea dahil mayroon kang typhoon weapon systems na ilang batteries lang. I mean, ginawa nila yan sa Russia. And in fact, Russia was threatened with the 32 member NATO countries. Tapos gusto nilang gawin ni Bongbong Marcos sa China, who has the third largest stockpile of nuclear arsenal, the most modern hypersonic missile technology. Does he really think na mag-aabandon na ang China just because natitreaten sa West Philippines, sa typhoons diyan sa West Philippines? You know, what if? Because I'm pretty sure hindi matitinag ang China nito. Kasi the moment i-abandon ng China ang kanilang claims diyan, precisely because Marcos said so, at isusoli niya sa Amerika yung mga typhoon weapon systems, it's the downfall of the regime of Mr. Xi Jinping. Kasi it is the interest of China now that is at stake. So, ang sa tingin ko nga, this is a very dangerous escalatory remarks. Kasi, ang analogy dito is, okay, we will protect our claims doon sa South China Sea with the US, hindi Philippines ha, US, Amerikanong may-ari dyan, typhoon weapon systems. Kung hindi ka umalis, nandito yan. Now, what if China will also position their equivalent missile systems? If I remember that Tianjian 10, no, the Long Shadow 10, na equivalent doon sa Tomahawk that is capable of being launched from this typhoon weapon system. What if ilalagay nila yan sa kanilang militarized artificial islands dyan sa South China Sea? At sasabihin ng China, abandon your claims dito sa South China Sea. Kung hindi, ito, mananatili yan dito forever. Pag mag-abandon kayo, isusoli namin to sa mainland. If the Chinese will go by that logic. Di ba? So this is a very, very dangerous, stupid, foolish statement coming from the president who is the chief architect of our foreign policy. Talagang ito yung nakakabahala, no? And especially if Russia steps in, no? Narinig na natin yan last year. I'm very keen on hearing, no, and inaabangan ko nga anong sasabihin at isasagot ng Ministry of Foreign Affairs ng China dito. Kasi it's a very, very alarming statement coming from this president. Talaga. Unacceptable ito. Ewan ko if it was advised to him or it was done voluntarily by himself without consulting his foreign policy people. Talagang this is more than ridiculous. This is irresponsible. This is incendiary. Kung titingnan mo, talagang wala tayong patutunguhan ito, Admar and MJ. Lalong pinainit niya ang sitwasyon diyan. Number one, hindi atin yan. What if Mr. Trump decides to pull out those missiles, the typhoon weapon systems? Kasi Amerikano yan eh. It is not for Bongbong Marcos to decide whether the typhoon weapon systems will stay in the Philippines or not, will be relocated or not. Because that is not ours. Those are American-owned weapons. So, pag nagdesisyon si Mr. Trump, i-pull out natin yung typhoon weapon systems, magmumukhang tanga itong si Bongbong Marcos. Diba? Pagtatawanan na naman tayo ng ating ASEAN neighbors and the Greater Asian Brotherhood of Nations.
Opo, at ang mga recent development dito naman sa mga polisiya ni President Donald Trump ay sinuspindi muna yung foreign aid, lalo na yung military aid, no? Tayo ba naman, wala tayong pambili ng nabanggit. Nabawasan pa nga yung ating modernization program sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. And maliban dyan, noong panahon pa ng kampanya, even before pa, gusto na ni President Donald Trump noon na talagang pagbayarin ang Taiwan kung gusto nila na mabigyan ng proteksyon. So ano yung bagay na hindi niya din gagawin din dito sa Pilipinas na hingan, gusto niyo pala yung ganyan, kayo ang magbayad imbis na sila ang magbibigay ng aid ngayon. Kaya bang mapangatawanan ito ng kasalukuyang administrasyon sa tanging nag-iisang Typhoon missile kalaban ang military giant?
Ayun na nga, Admar and MJ, no, mga kababayan, nakakatawa talaga, no. If you trace the statements of Mr. Trump, no, ganyan din yung sinabi niya sa NATO. He is threatening to withdraw for the US to withdraw from NATO unless magbayad yung European nations or yung NATO member countries. Kasi nga, yung Amerika pa ang malaking contribution dyan in terms of cash, in terms of material and equipment, no? Pero it's for the security of Europe. Ganon din sa Taiwan. America is spending so much for the defense of Taiwan, no? In case nga, quote-unquote, the mainland invades Taiwan. Now, etong mga EDCA sites naman, especially doon north of the Philippines, ay ilang beses nang sinabi nila na in defense of Taiwan, for the defense of Taiwan. So, sino ngayon ang magbabayad dyan? Sinabi na nga na Taiwan should be paying for America to protect them from this perceived, no, this imagined invasion of the mainland. So, asan ngayon pupulutin ng Pilipinas? Kung halimbawa, ang Taiwan ang magbabayad, nandito sa atin yan. Nandito sa lupa natin. So, pagbabayarin din tayo ni Mr. Trump dyan. Kaya ako'y natatawa talaga, no, Almar and MJ, mga kababayan. It seems to me na there's parang nasa panic mode na itong foreign policy team ni Bongbong Marcos precisely because of the unpredictability of Mr. Trump and his pronouncement and in fact his policies, no? So hindi nila talaga magets, and in fact until now, no, they are begging for an appointment for a meeting with Mr. Trump. Sinabi na niya ni Enrique Manalo of the DFA nung tinawagan niya si Secretary of State Marco Rubio that they are exploring looking at the possibility of setting up a meeting between Bongbong Marcos and Mr. Trump. Kahapon sa Cebu, sinabi na rin ni Bongbong Marcos, I am planning to meet with Mr. Trump. Biro nyo, we are the only treaty ally of the Americans here by virtue of the Mutual Defense Treaty. Ilang beses sinabi, the US has an ironclad commitment to the security of the Philippines. Pero hanggang ngayon, walang meeting na schedule. Not even a phone call to discuss matters of foreign policy and foreign relations between the two nations. So, ito, nagpa-panic mode na itong mga amboys, no, within Marcos Jr.'s administration. I think so.
Ang may malinaw na contact at talagang pinuri din ni US President Trump ay itong China. At nabanggit nga niya na hiniling niya sa China, ang US hiniling niya sa China na tulungan sila na magkaroon na ng kapayapaan, matigil na at marisolba na yung sigalot sa pagitan ng Ukraine at Russia. So, si Marcos Jr. naglabas ng matinding pahayag kontra sa China sa pag-aakala pa siguro na nandun pa yung ironclad commitment, sinuspindi na nga for 90 days pa dahil pag-aaralan pa. And sa mga naunang mga statement ni Trump na kung gusto ninyo ng protection mula sa US, kayo yung magbabayad. And at the same time ngayon, ang kanyang sinasandalan ay kinokontak yung China para tulungan sila, tulungan ng US na maresolba yung sigalot dyan sa Ukraine at Russia. Kumbaga, hindi nagtutugma itong mga polisiya ngayon ng kasalukuyang administrasyon na Sir Ibi.
Tama, no? Because it's a very well, it's a very pragmatic move of Mr. Trump, precisely because Russia and China now has a very, very strong alliance, no? From technology to the economy to trade to information sharing, no? And ang concern ni Mr. Trump is the war in Ukraine. Ang Middle East war sa Gaza ay ganun din naman. Pero ang importante Ukraine, because it affects European countries na who is an influencer, a macroeconomic influencer globally, no? So dapat talagang mahinto yan, no? And it's draining the American economy, no? Ang gera dyan. And the only leverage that Mr. Trump has over Russia is China. Tapos ngayon, if Mr. Trump calls on Mr. Xi, no, to exert, no, some friendly influence on Russia, hihingi din yan ng pabor kay Mr. Trump. So, and logically, ang hihingi na pabor ni Mr. Xi Jinping yan will be Taiwan. At sasabihin siguro, kung ako si Mr. Xi Jinping, okay, Mr. Trump, tutulungan kita para mahinto ang war sa Ukraine, para umupo sa negotiating table si Mr. Putin, pero I need your assurance na tanggalin ninyo yung mga EDCA sites dyan, pahintuin ninyo ang belligerent stance ng inyong ally na Pilipinas, and let's go to a bilateral arrangement, no? Bilateral negotiations. Tanggalin nyo yung mga Typhoon weapon systems dyan para hindi mag-escalate yung NATO-like expansion dito sa Indo-Pacific. Well, of course, if Mr. Trump is very pragmatic, he is after all a businessman, he makes deals. No, I'm pretty sure Mr. Trump can do away with EDCA and Typhoon weapon systems in the Philippines. We are just a footnote on the greater American global hegemonic framework, Admar and MJ. Ano lang tayo parang speck of dust lang tayo. The Americans doesn't care about the Philippines, quite frankly.
Opo, at ang mga move din ngayon ng Trump administration, halimbawa itong Taiwan na sinasabing parang kagaya din ng Pilipinas na meron ding BFF na Estados Unidos, papatawan pa nga sila ng taripa sa kanilang mga chips at mga semiconductors papasok doon sa Amerika. So talagang nagbago ang mga ganap ngayon dito at hindi na nagtutugma talaga itong kasalukuyan nating foreign policy.
Tama, no? Mr. Trump now is very inward looking, no? He is looking inward, no? Towards the American economy, the American national security along its borders, and the bloated bureaucracy of the American government, no? So yan muna ang tinatrabaho niya. That's why sabi na nga niya ni Mr. Trump, we want to stop all the wars. And sabi niya, parang sinabi niya, in my presidency, we will not start any war, and we will stop all those wars that American military adventurism has started over the years, no? So I'm pretty sure gagawin yan. Mr. Trump already learned his lessons, no? Doon sa kanyang first term as president, no? In 2016. So mag-iiba at mag-iiba talaga yan, no? At the Biden philosophy and the Biden governance is very, very far off the spectrum, opposite really to the Trump policies and governance model. So, ang sa Pilipinas kasi tailor fit doon kay Mr. Biden and the liberals, no, and the left, no. So
Opo.
ngayon here comes Mr. Trump na talaga mag-iiba yan.
Opo, at nabanggit nyo, tailor fit doon sa dating administrasyon, no? At ang dalawa sa mga pulisiya ngayon ng Trump administration na pinatigil niya itong censorship doon sa mga kalaban sa politika at paggamit ng kapangyarihan ng federal government laban doon sa mga kalaban sa politika, which is yan ang nangyayari ngayon din dito sa Pilipinas. Napapanahon na ba na gayahin na ng Marcos administration itong Trump policy, considering sa mahabang panahon ang Pilipinas, lalo na ngayong Marcos administration ay pro-America?
Well, dapat napapanahon na. Ang question is, gagawin ba nila? Mayroon ng collusion itong Marcos government with nitong nag-i-implement ng walang habas na censorship na in the guise of fact-checking, no? So, if they do, they would probably think twice kung talaga bang naaayon yan sa kanilang interest, precisely because pagka tinanggalan nila ng censorship, quote-unquote, baka talagang buong mundo na at buong Pilipinas na, buong sulok na ng Pilipinas ang makakaalam sa mga pinagagawa nila.
Oo,
Yes.
tsaka pangunahing naging biktima po niyan si Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy, ang SMNI, yung power tripping na nangyari laban sa mga kalaban sa politika, sa mga Duterte, na speaking pa sa censorship, ngayon ang kini-question na naman itong mga vlogger, inimbestigahan na naman po dyan sa Kongreso. So talagang tailor fit ito, kahalintulad sa dating administrasyon, at ito yung nakita ng Trump administration. Dapat mapanumbalik yung free speech kasi nandun din ito sa kanilang constitution, which is meron din sa ating constitution, Sir E.B.
Tama, no? Admiral MJ, tama talaga, no? At ako'y naguguluhan din, no? Na kahit anong init, no? Ng mga Pilipino, lalong-lalo na sa issue ng mga vloggers at yung mga independent political opinion makers, no? Ay pilit talaga nilang sinosuppress, no? Na yun naman ay magbabackfire. Alam natin yan na eventually magbabackfire yan sa kanila. So, the more you suppress the freedom of speech, the more people will try to free themselves, no, from that suppression, and therefore they will look more guilty than ever if they try to suppress it. And going back to the issue on this hearing about the vloggers, no, ayun na nga, no, they are disguising it as trying to solicit advice from these bloggers, no, in dealing with fake news. But going back to what you were saying, Admar, kanina, no, and MJ, about the Biden administration's seeming deliberate effort to suppress freedom of speech, ay nabasa ko sa isang artikulo, at hindi lang natin may discuss siguro dito, na there are about 300 churches pala na inexertan ng political pressure nitong Biden administration para nga ay hindi magsalita, at kabilang na nga doon ata nabasa ko ay ang Kingdom of Jesus Christ na simbahan nga nitong si Pastor Quiboloy.
Opo, at same, doon sa mga nabulgar doon sa pagdinig sa Senado para sa confirmation ng bagong DOJ secretary nila or Attorney General, tsaka kanina or kahapon ba na hearing din doon sa FBI, no? Chief nila, ito yung mga naibulgar at nais na ipahinto na itong kalakaran na ito, panggigipit sa mga simbahan, sa mga pro-life, dahil ito yung nangyari talaga sa KOJC. Perfect example at ganitong-ganito ang nangyari, lalo na kay Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, Sir Ibi. Siguro, bilang panghuli na lang po, mensahe nyo sa ating mga kababayan dito po sa mga napag-uusapan natin ngayon.
Well, ang sa akin lang, no, dapat yung mga kababayan natin, lalong-lalo na yung nagsusubaybay dito at especially yung mga OFWs na alalang-alala sa kanilang mga pamilya dito sa Pilipinas, lalong-lalo na talagang tumataas yung kriminalidad ngayon at hindi binibigyan ng masyadong exposure ng mainstream media, ay dapat po, no, maging mapagmatsyag kayo at dapat pag-usapan ninyo sa inyong mga pamilya, no, ang mga talagang nangyayari at totoong nangyayari, no, dahil ang mga karamihan ng mga Pilipino ay nasa mainstream media lang, no. So dapat makinig sila sa SMNI at halongkatin nila yung mga ibang opinion ng mga independent political commentators, bloggers, and as well as bloggers, no, para maisabi nila sa kanilang mga pamilya-pamilya dito na maging aware na sa mga issues being faced by this country. So, ayun lang, no? A continued level of awareness of what is happening to our country politically. Yun lang po, no? At sana po ay magtulungan po tayo.